Crash. The wind howled across the barren violet plains of Yeltrian 9, dragging plumes of crystalline sand into the atmosphere like shimmering ribbons. Captain Ilara Voss, commander of the Starlinker Horizon, stumbled from the wreckage of her downed shuttle, bleeding from a gash across her forehead. Her suit's diagnostics screamed critical alerts. No atmosphere, radiation spikes, power failure. The crash had torn the vessel in half. But she was alive. And alone. Ilara had been en route to negotiate a truce with the Vorlani Collective, an elusive species that Earth's United Stellar Coalition knew little about, except that they were powerful, reclusive, and potentially hostile. The diplomatic mission had been a gamble. Someone didn't want it to succeed. As she trudged across the sharp terrain, she noticed movement on the horizon, a shimmer like a heat mirage. She blinked, stumbled again, and fell. Before she lost consciousness, she saw a shape, tall, elegant, crowned in bioluminescent light, approaching. And then darkness. Part 2, The Queen. Ilara awoke in a cocoon of light, surrounded by a dense lattice of chitinous growths that pulsed with bioluminescent veins. The air smelled sweet like ozone and nectar. She was in a chamber, alien, organic, alive. A voice, layered and harmonic, drifted into her mind. Not spoken. Projected. "You are safe, Terran. Be still." Hovering near her was a tall being, nearly 8 feet high, with semi-translucent skin that refracted light like water. Her crown was not worn. It was part of her anatomy, a natural diadem of bone and light. This was no mere alien. This was royalty. "You are not like the others. You did not fire upon us." Ilara coughed, still weak. "Who are you?" "I am Queen Zelaria, matriarch of the Vorlani. You fell from the stars. You should not have survived." Ilara looked around. The walls of the chamber pulsed with a rhythm, almost like breathing. "Why did you save me?" Queen Zelaria tilted her head, her eyes glowing. "Because I saw your mind before your body was broken. You came in peace. That is rare." The two spent the next several days communicating through a psychic link. Ilara learned that the Vorlani were ancient, older than any human civilization. Their world had once been lush but was now dying, ravaged by centuries of war with the Mercurian Enclave, a rogue AI faction that harvested biospheres. Ilara, in return, told the Queen of Earth of its mistakes and ambitions, of its need for alliances to survive the galaxy's threats. In those quiet hours, a bond formed between them. Eventually, Vorlani ships returned Ilara to her delegation. The mission was rewritten as partially successful, with secret agreements established. No one believed her tale of a psychic queen in a living palace. But she never forgot. Part 3 years later. The galaxy changed quickly. The Mercurian Enclave launched a brutal campaign across the Orion sectors. Entire systems were sterilized. Their atmospheres turned into data fields and mineralized husks. Ilara Voss rose through the ranks, eventually becoming Admiral of the Vanguard Coalition fleet. She advocated repeatedly for a formal alliance with the Vorlani, but they had vanished. No communications, no ships, no trace. Then came the Battle of Epsilon Zeta. It was meant to be a quick ambush against Mercurian cruisers near a derelict starforge. Instead, it was a trap. 3 coalition capital ships were destroyed in minutes. Ilara's flagship, Ardent Grace, took massive damage. As the ship's shields collapsed and the command deck burned, Ilara gave the order to abandon ship. But as she turned toward the escape pods, a blast tore through the hull, hurling her into space. Floating, drifting, dying. Suddenly light. A rip in space. A ship, biological, shimmering, utterly alien, appeared out of nowhere. Tendrils of living material reached out, encapsulating Elara and pulling her into safety. She blacked out once more. Part 4. The recognition. She awoke in a cathedral of stars. This chamber was grander than the one from years ago, with vaulted organic arches and what looked like constellations embedded in its walls. She sat up, breathing freely despite the lack of visible atmosphere. Then she saw her again. Queen Zelaria, taller now, radiant with a deeper hue of light along her spine and crown. The queen stepped forward, her gaze searching Elara's face. And then, for the first time in a voice that was both spoken and felt, she said, "Wait. I remember you. You're the one who saved my life years ago." Elara blinked. "I saved you." The queen's eyes shimmered. "Not then. Before. Decades ago, before you knew me. A mining vessel on the outer rim. You rerouted a freighter's AI and diverted its collision course. You thought it was just cargo aboard. But I was there. In hiding. Escaping an assassination." Elara tried to recall. The incident was buried under 1,000 missions. Routine override. Faceless ship. I had no idea. Yet you acted. Without reward. Without recognition. You saved me. Twice now. Elara felt something unfamiliar. A swelling of emotion that bordered on awe. The queen continued. "We watched from afar. We waited. And when we saw your fleet in peril, we acted. The time for silence is over." A holographic map of the sector unfolded in the air. Dozens of Vorlani ships uncloaked in synchronous pulses across key points in the galaxy. Their arrival turned the tide. Part 5. The War. The Vorlani proved to be unlike any known force. Their ships were alive, capable of self-repair and adaptation. They moved in unison, guided by Queen Zelaria's mind across vast distances. Elara, now recovered and serving as coalition liaison, stood beside the queen in joint operations. Together they liberated 12 star systems in 4 months. The Mercurian Enclave's central node was located, deep in the gravity well of a rogue neutron star. A final battle loomed. The queen turned to Elara before the assault. "If I fall, the Vorlani may fracture. Our unity is tied to me. You must be ready." Elara stared at her. "Are you saying I'd lead them? Not as a queen, but as a bridge?" The battle raged for 17 hours. The Mercurians unleashed antimatter fields, disassemblers and temporal weapons. Elara's ship was hit. Zelaria's flagship was boarded. In the chaos, a blast meant for the queen struck a Vorlani child, a rare genetic future host. Elara, seeing the child limp and dying, dove into the line of fire, shielding it with her own body. Queen Zelaria screamed, a psychic cry that echoed across ships, systems, and stars. Her rage ignited a pulse from her mind that severed the enemy's connection to their central AI. The Enclave collapsed. A sentient virus without its host. Part 6. The New Order. Months passed. Reconstruction began. The galaxy began to breathe again. In the Vorlani capital, now no longer hidden, Elara was granted the title of Stellar Kin, a designation given only once before, millennia ago. Queen Zelaria stood before the gathered leaders of a dozen species. "Let it be known, the one who saved me in darkness, the one who saved my child, the one who saved our kind, is of us." Elara's voice cracked when she spoke. "I never did it for reward. I did it because it was right." The queen's gaze softened. "Then you are exactly what this galaxy needs." Plug. Elara often returned to the Chamber of Stars. The war had ended, but new challenges always arose. diplomacy, reconstruction, peacekeeping. Yet she found solace there.